I realized I was being watched and set a digital trap at a cafe, successfully luring out a suspicious individual. Meanwhile, a vengeful Tina York ordered her operative, Shadow, to ruin me and create a weakness for cousin Lisa Black. At the Anderson mansion, Pete and Cherry's game night was interrupted by a crash, the lights going out, and a chilling voice whispering, "Pete." A mysterious figure appeared from the shadows before quickly disappearing, leaving Chester to protect the terrified children. Who is the mysterious figure and what do they want with Pete? How will I and Justin handle this escalating threat? The frantic ringing of my phone startled me. Justin's voice, tight with alarm, cut through the quiet of my room. "Nora, you need to get to the mansion. Now. It's very urgent." My heart seized, anticipating the worst. The journey to the Anderson mansion was filled with agonizing speculation, every shadow seeming to hold a new threat. I burst into the grand ballroom, my senses on high alert, ready for chaos, for danger. Instead, I found a scene. An overturned table, yes, and scattered board games, but the air wasn't thick with fear. Pete and Cherry were huddled together, but their wide eyes held a spark of mischievous excitement rather than pure terror. Justin stood nearby, his face pale, but a familiar hint of suppressed amusement played around his lips. Chester, looking utterly exasperated, was pinching the bridge of his nose. "What happened?" I demanded, my voice sharp with adrenaline. "Are you two okay? Justin, what is this?" Justin cleared his throat, avoiding my gaze, and glanced at Chester. "Perhaps Chester can explain, Nora." Chester sighed, running a hand over his face. "All right, kids, show's over. Nora, Justin, this was all an elaborate setup." He gestured vaguely at the crime scene. "Pete and Cherry here, with a little of my strategic advice, orchestrated this emergency." The crash was a fallen prop, the darkness simply a flicked switch. And the ominous voice was Pete's growl through a modified flashlight amplified by Cherry's phone. My jaw dropped. I stared at Pete, who gave a small, proud nod. Cherry beamed, her eyes sparkling. "They just wanted us to have another date," Justin said, a chuckle finally escaping him. He looked at me, a genuine smile spreading across his face. Operation Happily Ever After, Phase 2, apparently. My initial shock gave way to a wave of amused disbelief, then a warmth that spread through my chest. The sheer audacity, the meticulous planning. It was impressive, really. "You two," I said, shaking my head, "you're incorrigible." Pete giggled, and Cherry rushed forward, throwing her arms around me. "We just want you and Daddy to be happy, Mommy." Justin looked at me, his eyes filled with a tenderness that was both unnerving and deeply appealing. "Well," he said, "I suppose a successful operation deserves a celebration, and I think these two deserve a reward for their ingenuity." Later that evening, the grand dining room, typically reserved for formal gatherings, felt unusually warm and inviting. Nora, Justin, Pete, and Cherry sat around the polished mahogany table, a genuine family for perhaps the first time. Laughter, real laughter, filled the air, replacing the usual tension that clung to the mansion's walls. Pete recounted the details of their operation, his voice small but clear, while Cherry interjected with dramatic flourishes, their pride in their matchmaking palpable. Justin, typically reserved, found himself genuinely amused, his gaze often drifting to Nora, a soft, appreciative smile on his lips. Nora, in turn, found herself relaxing, the exhaustion of the day fading in the unexpected comfort of their company. She even allowed herself a genuine smile, the kind that reached her eyes. "So what's Phase 3?" Nora asked, a playful glint in her eyes, after Cherry had just finished detailing her plans to steal Justin's shoes for a romantic treasure hunt. Cherry gasped, covering her mouth. "Mommy, that's a secret?" Justin chuckled, reaching across the table to ruffle Pete's hair. "Whatever it is," he said, "I'm sure it'll be memorable." As the dinner ended, and the children, tired but happy, finally headed off to bed, Nora stood by the window, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. The mansion, usually a place of lurking shadows and hidden threats, felt different tonight. Warmer, more like a home. She still had her secrets, her past, the shadowy organizations that still pursued her. And Justin had his own burdens, his own family rivalries. But for now, in this moment of quiet peace, surrounded by the laughter of children and the unexpected camaraderie of a man she was only just beginning to understand, Nora felt a flicker of hope, a sense that perhaps, just perhaps, happily ever after wasn't just for fairy tales. And so, as the quiet descended upon the Anderson mansion, a new chapter seemed to unfold for Nora. The shadows of her past and Justin's family feuds still loomed, but tonight they felt distant, softened by the warmth of a manufactured emergency and the genuine laughter it had sparked. As the city lights continued to twinkle, promising another day, Nora wondered, would this newfound domesticity be a shield against the threats that still pursued her, or would it simply offer a larger target? And as Pete and Cherry dreamed of Phase 3, what unpredictable twist would destiny, or perhaps just their ingenious children, have in store for them next?
Hi, Nora here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Saving Nora Now with the link in the description.